Give me 6 minutes and I promise you, you will be able to boost your cue ball control and take it to a new higher level. We face a fairly long 6 ball with a slight angle towards the side rail, and we need to get to the A ball, which is sitting right behind the side pockets. I'm almost certain that the most players, even intermediate ones, would choose to draw the cue ball to the top half of the table, so on the next shot they can play the A ball into the side pocket. At first glance, this seems like a great idea, because it leaves us with an easy shot on the A ball, but surprisingly this positioning comes with a couple of problems. The biggest issue is that most amateurs subconsciously believe they always have to pot the ball into the nearest pocket. By choosing this option, we are forced to use more speed, which increases the chance of missing the 6 ball altogether. Even if we make this ball, we must get the cue ball high enough on the table to have the correct angle on the A ball for an easy shape on the 9 ball. If we land too low, we will end up with an awkward angle, making the next positioning quite tricky. This situation would be completely different if cue ball was in center area of the table. This time, positioning to the top area is much clearer and easier, because we don't need to use as much speed as before. But returning to our main situation, there is also a chance that we will play too hard and land very close to the side rail, perfectly straight to the A ball, which can cause a very embarrassing scratch. However, all these problems come down to a very important conclusion, that we should never ever try to use 100% of our shot. Instead, you should play much softer to get shape on the A ball to the top right corner. We have quite large position areas, so it will be much easier to get shape on the 9 ball. Even if you land close to the side rail, then think about the rule I mentioned earlier. Don't try to force yourself to land perfectly in front of the 9 ball, because you might lose your position. Instead, guide the cue ball along safe path and hit the rail in safe distance from the side pockets. We are leaving a bit more difficult shot on the 9 ball, but still easy enough to avoid problems. We need to get from 6 ball to the 8 ball, which seems to be a quite easy thing. But many amateurs simply try to get shape on the A ball without thinking what next, and once again this comes with a couple of problems. First of all, as you can see, A ball and 9 ball are located close to the opposite side rails. If we land straight to the A ball, then it is practically impossible to transfer the cue ball to the other side of the table, so we are actually forced to leave very difficult shot on the 9 ball. Leaving the proper angle is absolutely essential for effective positioning. However, if we leave only a bit of angle towards the side rail, then positioning to the 9 ball is possible, but we have to make a lot of effort to get good shape. This position of the cue ball looks much better, but we still need to use high speed to transfer it to the other side of the table, which may result with missing the A ball or too short positioning. Our goal is to land as straight as possible to the 9 ball, and it would be much easier if we were with this angle to the 8 ball. We faced a bit more difficult cut shot, but look how easily we can transfer the cue ball to the other side of the table without a lot of effort. We use much less speed than in the previous two scenarios, so creating good shape on the 9 ball is much more predictable. We face this extremely easy 6 ball and we need to get to the A ball, which is located close to the opposite side rail in bottom area. And once again, surprisingly many amateurs disregard this shot because there is an automatic angle that directs the cue ball toward the A ball. They just make the 6 ball and leave the cue ball in this area, which looks not bad. But once again, the reality is completely different. If we leave the cue ball far away from the next ball, then even if we leave the proper angle, it may be extremely difficult for us to control the cue ball and get good shape on the 9 ball. Instead, it will be much better if we left the cue ball much closer to the 8 ball. Now, controlling the cue ball is a much easier case because we don't need to use so much speed, so positioning to the 9 ball will be much more predictable. But if you take more time to work on these 3 aspects, then I'm sure you will be able to get better at pool and take your game to a new higher level.